What's up, YouTube? Big Dog Brett here. Wanted to talk about the Georgia-Florida game. Lots to talk about. So, one of the things I want to jump into is this is obviously a rivalry game. It's a game we play every year, but I want to make it clear that this is called the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It ain't called whatever they want to call it on TV. Because somebody's worried about somebody's feelings or whatever else. It's the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That's what it is. Quit trying to change it. That's the tradition. It goes back for as long as I can remember. So we're gonna leave that like it is, guys. Quit trying to change it. Next thing I want to talk about is kind of the mentality that's going on between the two teams. There seems to be this difference between Georgia and Florida and how we're looking at this game. A couple of their players, one of them, Chauncey, I can't remember, but if you look up Chauncey, Florida missed tackles, he's the first guy. No problem, you'll find him easy. The second guy is a receiver named Hammond. And if you look him up under missed receptions for Florida, he pretty much pops right to the top two. So those two guys talking a lot of smack, but they're really easy to find. Go look that up for yourselves. Those are the kind of players I get my my college stats from. Yeah. So in Georgia, Florida, the mentality that's going on between the two teams is that Georgia is really looking at this as a little bit more than business as usual, but still having that business as usual kind of going into it. Kirby Smart pulled together the team, and he asked everybody to raise their hand on who inside of that room on that team had actually beaten Florida. Players that had been on the field that beat Florida. And nobody could raise their hand. Now, that is a real humbling feeling. Is whenever your coach, you're supposed to be on top of the world, and your coach is asking you, did anybody ever beat them? And nobody can raise their hand. So what that did is that helped to get the team get their mind right, and I think that goes to show that Kirby Smart as a head coach does a great job at finding a way to bring his players' heads to the right place. There's been a real culture shift at Georgia, and if you can't see it, it's because you haven't been paying attention. Bear with me, I have a cold, so here's what it is. Kirby Smart's really been working hard to get the players to buy in. And I think you can go all the way back to last year, or the end of last year, whenever we found out that Nick Chubb and Sony Michel were going to come back. I think that was because he got those players to buy in. But those guys really had no reason to come back. They could have went and they could be making millions right now. But he had them to buy into that team mentality. Hey, come be part of something awesome. Come be part of something great, and let's go do something wonderful. And that's exactly what's going on. Now, every single game we've seen Georgia play, with the exception of maybe the Missouri game, their heads have been in it right from the very start. They've been working hard in practice, and they've been playing for the guy next to them rather than playing for themselves. Now, that says a lot about how the team's going to function on the field, and that's how they've played all year. So I don't think we can discount in any way, shape, form, or fashion the mentality that's going on to the Georgia team. Now, if we go back and we actually look at what Florida's trying to do, Florida's trying to get this mentality going on their side that, oh, Georgia can't beat us. We've got this. This is what we do. We beat Georgia. No, boy, sorry. You better back it up and check it. Check it out. Listen, if you look at the numbers, you can absolutely see that Georgia has a lot of differences this year than they've had in past years. One of them being a head coach that does his homework. And I'm sorry, I'm going to beat that drum about Mark Richt until the fan base in general and those around Georgia can see that this is not Mark Richt's Bulldogs. No, this is Kirby Smart's Bulldogs. Last year, we lost a couple of games by a couple of points. Some polishing up, some fixing. We got it running right. this year, head coach Kirby Smart does the things that need to be done to get the Dogs in the right place to win the games. And to me, none of that was more apparent than the game that we played against Missouri, where we got punched in the mouth kind of early on, and we got punched in the mouth early on, and we had to fix that, and he did. And then, we went on to win the game handily. Now, Georgia didn't respond to the negative impact that came, or the negative trash talking that came from Florida. When the players were interviewed, they kind of said, what, that's just Florida. We don't care. We're going to go out, we're going to play our game, and we're going to do what we've been doing, and we're going to play this for us. Blew me away. So, that's the right mentality for a team to have, instead of players who are going out there giving 85% at practice, and then going out on game day and trying to make it happen. The teams have really changed, so that in the Georgia practices now, those guys go a lot harder, and they want to get better. They want to succeed. They want to be better. So that says a lot. I don't think Florida's got it. I don't think Florida's even close. If you look at Florida's offense, no matter who they played this year, they've only scored over 31 points once. And honestly, that tells you pretty much all you really need to know about Florida. If you're only going to score 31 points, give me a second here. If you're only going to score 31 points in a game, only score more than 31 or more points in a game, you better make sure that it's at least against a really good team, so you can say your offense is really good against. It was against the Commodores. It was against Vandy, and against Tennessee, they let Tennessee score 20 points. 20 points. I think Florida was the last team that Tennessee scored a touchdown against. Yeah, pretty sure it was. Well, with the offensive touchdown. Excuse me, offensive touchdown. The teams that they've struggled with, LSU, Texas A&M, Michigan, beat the doors off of them. They didn't even play UNCO. I just don't see it. Georgia's only had one game where we scored less than 31 points. So if we're just talking about offenses, we're not talking about defenses, just offenses. Florida's only had one game where they scored more than 31 points. Georgia's only had one game where they scored less. So to me, you'd have to have two complete polar flips in order for our offense just to not outscore their offense. That ain't talking about the defense. So let's talk about the defense now. Georgia's defense, I don't know, second, first, third, somewhere amongst the very elite in college football at stopping what? Scoring, one. Two, the run. And listening to some of the Florida podcasts, Florida people talk about, they got faith in Felipe Franks. They've got faith that listen, you can't know. Have you looked at this guy? Honestly, have you looked at this guy? Felipe Franks has 800 total yards this season. That's that's right around 100 yards a game, maybe a little more. But he's only got 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Compare that to Jake Fromm, who really not passing a lot, really not, except maybe 1 or 2 games. He's got over 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's 3 times as many as Felipe Franks. That Frank is going to get cooked. You ain't going to run the ball against Georgia. Georgia is going to run the ball against you. Now, there's people that say, listen, there's no way that team, Florida, thinks they have a plan, that they're going to stop the run against Georgia. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. You ain't going to stop the run against Georgia. And I'm going to explain to you why. You ready for this? Let me go back to when Georgia played Notre Dame. Let's see. Sony Michel had 73 carries, top of the game, right? 73. Let me see. Where'd it go? I just had it right here in front of me. Back up. Box score. Now, Notre Dame's defense is stout. Georgia still put up 185 yards rushing. That's still respectable. We had 141 yards passing that game, 185 yards rushing, and that was with the carry split evenly between Michel and Nick Chubb. The offensive line has gotten a lot better since then. Jake Fromm has gotten a lot better since then. So I'm trying to understand where in the world Florida thinks they're going to stop this run. It ain't going to happen. Couple that with the fact that Georgia's had 2 weeks, Kirby Smart has had 2 weeks of full practices to sit down with his team, which, by the way, we're getting 2 of our best players back. Excuse me. 2 of our best players back. We're going to go in and handle business. In Gainesville, not Gainesville, in Jacksonville. We'd handle it in Gainesville. I ain't got no problem saying that either. The coach, listen, the one thing, to me, the most important thing is your coach. Your number one thing to do as a coach is to keep your team's head in the right place. Everything else is after that fact. You have to keep their head in the right place. Otherwise, they don't care about the plays you come up with. Otherwise, they're distracted on the field. Otherwise, they don't work as a unit together. Otherwise, you have all kind of disconnect when the game starts going sideways or even get started. And so what does he want to do in the middle of a press conference is just throw it out there that he got death threats. Well, then whenever they pushed it, and which, by the way, I don't condone anybody getting death threats or giving them or any of that. It's a felony, so think about that. The University of Florida was as shocked as the rest of us, their admin staff, and they asked him, like, what are you talking about? His response is, well, it was sent anonymous, so I don't really want to talk about it. Well, then why did you bring it up? Why did you bring that up? Now, that's going to have multiple impacts. Number one, then you got to address it as a coach. You've got to say to your team, hey, don't worry about that. Wait a minute. Don't worry about death threats. Okay. Don't worry about that. Let's focus on the game. Really? Why didn't you focus on the game before you said that? So, if I'm a parent and so then, you come out and you make this statement that you don't, you make a statement about death threats. If I'm a parent of a kid and you come visit me and you want to tell me about how great the University of Florida is, but you're getting death threats from your own fans, no, I'm not sending my kid there. And I don't think any responsible parent should. So now, not only have you created a problem on the field, because your players now have to deal with one more thing, you've created a problem inside of the politics of the college you go at, because now you have to deal with the administrative staff. You've now created kind of a PR field day for the rest of your coaching staff to have to deal with, right? And you're screwing up your own recruiting. What are you doing? You know what, Florida? Keep doing that. I like it. It looks good on y'all. It really does. Thanks. And to talk about your recruiting, you've had recruits in the top 10 out of the ESPN 300, I think it is. You've had at least one recruit out of the top 10 the past 5 years in a row. So you've got talent, but you can't seem to put it together. So this is starting to sound a lot like Tennessee. Coach looks like he's on the hot seat. You got players talking trash. You got all kind of PR stuff going on. There's disarray between you and the administrative staff of the college, and you're screwing up your own recruiting. Looks good on you, Florida. Keep at it. Love it. Somebody said that they think that Jake Fromm has got to throw the ball 15 or 20, something ridiculous. Listen, Jake Fromm ain't got to throw it that much. He really don't. If Georgia wants to run the score up, then fine, we probably will, but we don't have to. Georgia's going to do just fine. I think it's a 14-point spread. I don't predict there'll be any problems covering that spread. Matter of fact, I think the score is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 41-14. Yep, that much, at least. I think Kirby Smart's going to go out there. He's going to make a big statement. Keep in mind, both Kirby Smart and McElwain are from Saban's camp. Both of them. But Kirby Smart is doing what McElwain wants to do but can't do. I mean, it's night and day. Georgia's 7-0. McElwain's 3-3. I don't care about the rivalry aspect of it. If you just look at the pure coaching, that's all you really got to look at. I believe Georgia could swap coaches and let Kirby Smart run Florida for a year and a half, and they'd come back and work us if we had McElwain as a coach. Do they have some good players? Yeah, they got good players. So did Tennessee. So did Missouri. Walk the dogs on them is what it is. So Florida, for all you Florida fans that think you're going to just, we're going to whoop Georgia again. Listen, this ain't the same Georgia. It's not. And anybody that watches college football, anybody that watches Georgia will tell you that. Listening to some of your own podcasts, your own fans, your own announcers, your own reporters, they're telling you that this is not going to be a walk in the park. And that for Florida to win, they've got to run the ball. You might as well say that they got to go out there and do handstands when they snap the ball. You ain't going to run the ball. It ain't going to happen. Nobody has. So it's pretty clear that, I mean, listen, Notre Dame's ranked, I don't know, 8, 7, 8, 9, you probably argue they should be ranked 5 or 6. Okay. You know, let me help you guys out. Let me help you out, Florida. You ready? They had 55 yards. That's 5 and 5 rushing the ball. You ain't gonna run it. You're not. Oh, and by the way, I mean, I guess if y'all need to go down there and get hyped up, y'all really should. Y'all need to get hyped up. Go down to the local penitentiary down there in Jacksonville or College County, lockup, whatever y'all get. Go visit your other 10 players down there. I think most of them have felonies. Y'all are in direct competition with Florida State for having the most criminals on campus at any given time. That ain't who you need. That ain't how you're supposed to compete with Florida State. And a lot of you guys is talking about when you get to Florida State, that y'all looking forward to that game because y'all think y'all might can win. Now, you worried about that's who you think you can beat is Florida State. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel sorry for y'all. I don't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for y'all. I was gonna say almost, but not even close. Y'all put yourself in this situation, and then here we go, just like Tennessee. You ran your mouth. Okay, have some. Have some, and have plenty, because it's gonna be Gator. It's gonna be Gator on the Barbie. And it's going to taste good. And I'm going to enjoy every bite, every snap of every second. And when the game's over, y'all going to be crying in your Kool-Aid talking about, well, you're going to fire your coach. Him and McElwain probably be looking for, him and Butch Jones going to be looking for a job at the same time. Both of them. Because y'all can't beat Georgia. Ain't going to beat Georgia. Won't beat Georgia. Don't know how to beat Georgia. Not this year. And probably not for a long time. So, Florida, better tighten up. No, you know what? You can't. You can't get it together. That's okay. That's okay. Because now it's the dog show coming to get you. And see you soon. Go Dogs.